Shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And oh, I am delighted to have I'm passing the bar, ladies and gentlemen, because with us is IRIS BAHR. How many times have you heard that joke? Let me tell you a little bit about this actress. She's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She created and starred in the HD TV series Svetlana. You've also seen her in such movies as Larry the Cable Guy, Health Inspector. I never knew there was that subtitle there. And on TV in Hacks and Friends and Drew Carey and Big Bang Theory. She's also an authoress and stand-up comedian. Her books include Mock Chew, My Peak Chew, I like that, and, pardon me for saying this, Dork Whore, which I've been called a few times. She is a Lucille Lortel award-winning Drama Desk nominated playwright and actress for her show Die, but she's very much alive. In fact, she has a new one-woman play that you can go see called Stories from the Brink, My Festive Near-Death Adventures, which is playing now through this coming Shabbos, April 3rd, at the Soho Playhouse on Van Damme Street. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome IRIS BAHR? Shalom, IRIS!
Shalom, shalom. How are you?
Oh my God, how you doing?
Good.
Good, this is good. So tell me, how is your one-woman show, Stories from the Brink, going?
It's going great. You know, it's a series of vignettes from my life that encompass many different adventures, travel, childhood, war zones, caregiving for my mom, and, you know, a slew of other things. So it's funny, it's moving, so people are kind of laughing and crying intermittently. And it's
This
been going
happens
great.
to be, yeah. So give us a shtickle, no, not, give us a taste that will make us want to go see the whole show. What's a
I
story
mean,
that you tell?
a lot of crazy shit happened in my lifetime. When I was a kid, my parents were very secular Jews, put me in an Orthodox yeshiva, and I had to lead a double life. And until one day, everything went awry, and that's one story. I got stung by an entire beehive, and that was another one.
Well, all right,
There's a
right.
bunch. I don't want to give away too much.
No,
So,
but
yeah,
you can tell the whole story, obviously,
yes,
in the show. But I
yes.
remember there was that Macaulay Culkin movie, My Girl, where the character dies when she's stung by bees and
Oh,
wasps and hornets. You lived.
I lived. I did vomit, but I did live.
How many
Yeah.
bees did they count the
They
things?
didn't count. No, they put a lot of calamine lotion, which is a useless substance, by the
Oh,
way. It does nothing. Nothing. But yeah, I kept it together. Everybody else ran, and I stood there, and I took it for the team. So
good God.
yeah.
How did it end, though? I mean, you see them jumping in water or
Well,
whatever,
all the
rolling.
bees die. I mean, the entire hive, they died. They stung me, and they all die. You know, they sting and they die.
Now,
So they
did you
stung me
feel
and they
good?
died.
It's sort of like dealing with terrorists. It's like they do something horrible, and then boom, they die a
And
happy.
then they're gone, and that's it. Yeah. So that's
So
kind of what happened.
when were you in a war zone?
Well, I mean, I was in Israel on October 7th, and I also, when I was a kid, I was there during the Gulf War, so we had to deal with the Scud attacks. And so that's another vignette. That's actually a very funny vignette.
Yeah,
Um,
falling missiles, hilarious.
yeah,
No,
no,
yeah.
but the Scuds, the Saddam Hussein Scud, yeah, there's a whole other vignette with me and my mom. You know, we had to seal a room, you know, with duct tape, you plastic wrap, you know, your room comes the sealed room, and my mom didn't want to put her gas mask on because she didn't want to mess up her hair. This is true, and so she's like, I just did my hair, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, so there's that. So a lot of fun, as you could tell, like a lot of, you know, I always try and find the humor even in the most darkest of situations. I'm sorry, my son is on the subway by himself. So I just have to see where he's at.
He's 2 years old. It's
He's a
probably not.
toddler, and I just hope for the kindness of strangers.
Yeah. Check
Um,
your phone.
Sorry.
No, please. This. We'll wait. Tell him hi. Tell him Rabbi
Okay,
Sol.
Rabbi Saul says
God
that you
bless
are a
you.
failure and I should disown you. Love you, mean it. Okay, great. I may have to
Wow.
be bouncing. Yeah,
So one thing that you were in the IDF, but
I
that is
was.
not when you were. That was not October 7th. That was a while
No, no, no,
before.
no, no, no. Yeah, I mean, I was living there. I was drafted like everybody else. I had a mindless job in the army. It was kind of no consequence. But I did it.
Thank
So that's what
God.
it is.
Would you rather have been on the front lines?
No, no, no. But this one really was like, I have no doubt that even AI would have been like, this is too dumb for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's like, this is a waste of my time. So that's how bad it was.
So you were there what 2 years doing
Yeah.
that thing
Yeah.
safe, no problem. You didn't see
Yeah.
any.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank
Yeah.
God. Good,
Yeah.
good. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Where
So
are you based?
oh God, I'm as base as you can possibly get on the.
Hmm.
Technically, I'm in Great Neck, New York, which is where my
Oh, okay.
shul
Okay.
is.
Okay.
My wonderful town. So why so were you hiding that you were a secular Jewess when you were going to the Orthodox? Did you not want the
Yeah, yeah,
children? Oh,
because otherwise I would be ostracized. And so I was leading this double life, and my parents would drive me on Shabbat to McDonald's, which you couldn't get less kosher than McDonald's back in the day. They used to deep fry the potatoes in pig fat, as far as I
they
recall.
really did. And even the filet o fish.
Yeah, it was
Filet
all
o
pig fat.
awful. Yeah.
And we would drive through the Orthodox neighborhoods while everybody else was walking to shul, and I would have to like duck down like El Chapo, to not be spotted. So it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah, but so what did that make you feel? Go not only having that bifurcated existence when you were a child, but seeing orthodoxy up close and not necessarily believing the level of belief that they and I have. How did that make you feel about Judaism?
No, I felt it. I was conflicted because I did believe, and I did want to be like everybody else. I did want to be observant, and I did want to go to shul with everybody and be part of the community. There's an amazing sense of community in modern Orthodox. I'm sure also in the ultra Orthodox, even more so. But there's an amazing sense of community and support, and they all go to shul together, and they're all hanging out, and they all kind of have these rituals and very distinct guidelines on how to live life. It does make a lot of things more streamlined, and obviously, if you have faith, that makes life easier. And so, someone who fluctuates like me and who was living a very secular life, it was a bummer.
Because when you were an adult, you could have made the choice at that point
Yeah, and I
to.
didn't want to. Yeah, and again, also it's hard when you're not I'm a cultural Jew like many, right? Like I love the traditions, and I believe in God, and but it's also like I'm not like, oh, I must do this or I must do that. I have a very I believe in the values, the Jewish values. That to me is what's
Yes,
important.
as Woody Allen put it, God and carpeting. Those are the true actual values.
Woody Allen, a man of many values. So, yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, I'm a proud, I'm a proud Jew, but I accept all faiths in the sense that like many ways to climb the mountain, and whatever, as long as you're not hurting anybody else and don't think you're better than anyone else, you're good to go.
Well, come on, we're better.
Right? No, I understand that, but besides the Jews,
We're not
everybody
supposed to
else,
act like we're better, but we're bad. We know. We
right,
know.
right, right. No,
So
no.
here comes the question: as an Israeli sometimes person, as an idea person, as a
Yeah.
secular Jew, blah, 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 do you separate Judaism and Zionism? I conflate them. I think they are one
Oh my God,
important
that's
thing.
a tough one. We're really diving deep.
We're diving deep, damn it.
That's again, I believe in the need of the state of Israel for the Jews. I know many Jews that are now have of conflicted opinion. I do think that not wanting a Jewish homeland is not wanting something for the Jews. I mean, I do think that 100%. But I also believe in a two-state. I want peace and I want to live alongside. Like I feel like this is not tenable. And unfortunately, whether we have a partner or not is a big question. But I'm a highly compassionate person, and I look at this is the situation now is heartbreaking to me. You know what I mean? And the fact that Hamas is back in Gaza, and that and all the people that perished on truly, and the Palestinian civilians, like it's all so tragic and useless, and it's heartbreaking, and all
May
the
I ask?
hostages we lost, and it's like, and now in Iran, my heart goes out for the Iranian citizens, you know what I mean? And it's like, and the Lebanese citizens, like again, not everybody's Hezbollah, not everybody is, and we're all kind of
Yeah,
caught in this endless loop.
I will say I am all for the Lebanese. If two women want to be together and marry, that is completely fine by me. I think that nothing at all wrong with the Lebanese. But let me ask you, where were you physically on October 7th?
I was in Tel Aviv, and my son was camping on the beach in Ashkelon.
Which was how far from?
Is right by Gaza, right there. Yeah.
So what was your day like? I mean, I
It
remember
was
9/11 in America. I was in
Yeah, no, it
Queens.
was horrific. I mean, that's a big part of the show. So
Oh, oh.
you should just come to the show, and then you'll hear all these
Everybody should come to
stories.
the show. The show
Please
is
come to
still.
the show because I
Yeah.
really don't. I mean, that literally is the show.
Oh,
I
yeah.
talk. It was a very harrowing day, and obviously, and thank God, Baruch Hashem, he's fine. But many people from those beaches did not make it out, and it was a horrible day, and everybody's reeling. And I think it's been a tragedy not only for Israel but for the Jewish people. I mean, the rise and everyone is kind of jumping on the bandwagon, and it's horrible. I mean, there was just a thing in London,
Oh,
that
yeah. Oh,
they lit those ambulances, and it's endless. And then Michigan, and it's sad. I mean, again, I know that this is no surprise, but
and
it's
nor did
still
it
tragic.
start in 1948 or on October 7th. I mean,
No, no, no.
anti-Semitism has
As old
been
as time, as old as time. But now there's, yeah.
a
So
tale as old as time.
there you go.
Let's all hate the
Sing it,
Jews.
Rabbi
Yeah.
Sol.
Yeah, that's my yeah. No, this is not your first one-woman show, though. You also
No.
won that award for Die, where you and
Yes.
stories of long before, not even Israel related. So, what's a story or two of your crazy, amazing life that?
Well, I mean, this is my sixth solo show. And Die, I explored. It was, 12 or 13 characters in a cafe right before a suicide bomber enters, right? And all the characters perish, but they don't know that, so they're celebrating life. And I explored many perspectives, and I had a West Bank settler, and I had a Palestinian academic that had to deal with the checkpoints. Like I'm always into exploring all the perspectives and having people make sense of it what you will, and that to me was interesting, and how outsiders view us and are misunderstood, and how we are misunderstood, and also internal critique, there's that too. There's a lot of people upset in Israel now with what's going on, and upset with the government, and there's no shortage of that. But so my other shows were all fictional. I created characters. I had a show called I Lost You There, completely fictional, and it was a story of a woman writing letters to her daughter, who didn't know that she was dying, and she pretended to be on a trip. But I explore all these different characters that she meets, and so, and I had another show about immigrant experience in America, and I had many an immigrant in that show that I played. And then once my mom had a stroke 5 years ago now, while she was talking to me on video. And the stroke caused dementia. And so I wrote an entire show about that day, and caregiving for a loved one with dementia, which is a very, obviously isolating experience. And so I did this show because I knew that people needed to feel less alone. Like caregiving for a loved one is such a prevalent experience, obviously, as you get older and people are caring for their spouses. And the amount of people that came to me and said, oh, my husband has Alzheimer's, or my mother has this. And the show has a lot of humor in it, because again, that's how I kind of deal with
Thank
stuff.
God the
Yes.
topics you choose, Iris. I mean,
Yeah, but it's a lot of humor and levity, and it offers relief. And so I feel like it's really being of service. Now this show is actually really funny. So Stories from the Brink, despite all the content, people crack up the entire show. So some people go, oh, that was great stand-up. Like, it's like people really see it as a comedic piece, even if you're, emotional here and there. So it's really seen through a very comedic lens.
well, you are labeled on your website as a stand-up as well as a
Yeah.
theatrical performer. So, have you stopped doing straight, go to clubs, do the
I
stand-up
do
thing?
stand up, but I do special engagements. I don't do I'm not running around the city, because I've been on tour for the last year and a half with this show. And also I was shooting a TV series for Amazon in New Mexico for 4 months. So I was there. So I don't really run around town doing 15-minute sets. If I'm asked to headline, I'll headline. I'll do special events. I host a lot of stuff. I host private things. If I'm going to synagogues or someone's home, then I'll do stand up.
Oh,
I'm
temple
happy to
sons of
come to your
bitches.
synagogue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, we need someone to run our Seder, because I'm so freaking bored with it. But, okay. But here's a question that, and it's the sexist question that women always get asked.
Oh boy,
But
here we
I'm an
go.
old sexist, so I'll ask it. So there you are. You were checking on the phone with your son, right? Who was riding the subway alone. That.
Yeah.
So you must get asked. Oh, you were in New Mexico for 4 months, right? So
Yes.
how do you be a mommy and a housewife and a thing, and have a real career where you are shooting series?
This is the first time I've been away for a long stretch. I have not done that, and I have opted not to do that because I wanted to be with my son, and no judgment on anyone who does it. I'm a single parent, and so I have to make those choices. His dad came to be with him part of the time, and I came a lot, and he had it was all taken care of. He wasn't roaming around on his own.
Yeah.
But and it's not because I judge anyone that has to work or wants to work. It's just my choice. I have, one kid. I know that at some age he's not going to want to hang out with me, and I try and maximize my time with him, and that's what I've been doing. And I love it. It doesn't feel like a sacrifice. Like I think when you do something wholeheartedly, it doesn't seem like a sacrifice because I'm doing the thing that I wanted. But doing the series was great, but yeah, it was hard being away. It was probably 3 months, and then I came back and forth to kind of shoot some smaller stuff. But it was amazing. And he came to visit, and I came back, and we took trips, and went to where George O'Keeffe lived, and horseback riding through the desert. New Mexico's an amazing,
He's probably
amazing
too
place.
young for you to explain the flower paintings to him. You
Oh, he's
probably don't want
definitely
to say
not
what.
too young. No, in New York, these kids,
Yeah.
the things he asks me, I'm like, oh my God, where do you even what do you even know to ask that question,
Yeah,
son?
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
So, but let me ask you, what do you think was your career-defining moment? Because you have a pretty, you're doing series, you're doing one-person show, you're touring, you're going all around. What was the thing that took you from being a unknown wannabe actress, playwright, comedian, da da da, to being, oh, I've got an agent and a full dance card, and I work and I turn things down.
I don't think I think as long as you're working, um, I don't define success by financial, especially in the world of theater. I could have been a lot more successful. I mean, I have people that I started out with that are Broadway or have their specials, but that never was my guiding force for better or worse. I publish books. I've always done a lot of different things. And it's not like people recognize me on the street. When I say to them, my son, when I say to them, oh, they're looking at me and I go, why do I know you? And they go, oh, from Curb. Then they immediately know. But it's not like, oh God, can I get a selfie with you, Iris? And I'm like, no, it's fine. It's not that
Oh,
thing. So I think that I like creating work. I like shepherding work. I help people develop their own work. That's why I teach a lot. And I love work where I feel like it's meaningful to me. And a lot of the stuff I do is not commercial. Like it's just not. The show now or the shows I've done, people love and they come, but I'm not touring, colleges in Detroit with this show. So I think that's, I could if I wrote something very commercial, but that hasn't really been
by the way, let
yeah.
me first of all apologize because I didn't realize it's Iris Bar.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, is it Iris like Iris
Yeah,
Chacon?
like
I did
Iris.
not.
Yeah, like Iris
Oh,
Chacon. That's exactly right.
is
Yes.
Bar? Am I saying Bar okay?
Bar is correct.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
bar is
God. All
correct.
right. So Iris, and I do have to ask, working with the Curb people, Larry David and all that, what, because you have a great scene with him on the ski lift and all that,
Yes, yes.
what were they like to work
Oh,
with?
amazing, amazing. Larry's the best. Larry's the best. I mean, everybody on that show. I did what, 4 episodes over the course of 15 years. I just shot the finale a few years ago. It's like, um, they're amazing, and Larry, and everything is, improvised, but the storylines are so brilliant, and he's such a kind soul, and
Oh.
great to work with. So it was wonderful.
So I was wondering because you don't know when the camera goes off and you're not part of the
No, no, he is
house.
lovely. I have to say, I don't think I've ever had an experience. I've done a lot of TV. Obviously, when you work with like really big, when I did Friends, I was just starting out and they were at the height of their fame. They were all very nice. And,
Huh.
Jennifer Aniston would come up to me after and say, great job. But a lot of them are also like, they're there to do their job. They've been doing the show for a million years. They're not going to talk to every rinky-dink co-star that comes in for 4 lines. And I understand that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, but no one was ever rude. No, no, I did when I was doing theater, I encountered, the dudes, alcoholic,
Oh, oh,
I
oh.
had enough. Well, I did have Me Too moments to write a book about that. So that I did have. I did have a lot of Me Too moments coming up in the industry, but
Well, what was it, Harvey himself or who?
Harvey sadly did not hit on me. I met Harvey in Cannes and we talked about some things and that was it. There was never an invite, there were no robes involved, and I got to tell you, this guy would shtup anything. So the fact that I got turned down was really not great for the ego. I'm like the guy, literally a plant.
And by
So
the way, you're pretty hot. Let me
thank
say
you so
you're a
much,
very
Rabbi.
attractive
Thank you so
woman. So
much.
it's you
Thank
take
you.
it personally. But who did
Thank you.
who wanted to give you a quid pro quo with
Oh,
extra
I'm not
quid?
gonna I'm not. That's not. Yeah, that's not what we're here for. But I
That's
always
what I'm
call
here
people
for.
on their shit. I always was like, "What are you doing?" And then I never got work from them again. But I was always like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So that's
That's what
me.
they were trying to do was fucking. But then I
Yeah.
don't know what that
Okay.
means. No, but all right. But then I'll spin this back on you. Who is an actor that you maybe well known that you were afraid of working with, or you thought would be standoffish and cold, and turned out to be really extra nice and sweet?
Oh God. I don't know. I've always had really good experiences. I can't say. I've met celebrities, um and again, it's hard in the world of celebrity because these people are accosted all the time. And when you're talking to someone who's extremely famous, it's always about you trying to make conversation or small talk, and they don't really care. Like no one's asking you. The only person who was so amazing and took so much interest in asking me about it was Steve Martin. I met him at a social event, and honestly asking it about comedy and the work, without any agenda, just pure and genuinely interested. So again, there's people of all kinds in all industries. I think that, you know what I mean? Like what are you gonna do?
No, no. And by the way, what I am going to do is remind people that Iris Bahr's show, Stories from the Brink, is playing through April 3rd at the Soho Playhouse. But let's tell us more about your previous shows, because that one we don't want to know because we want to go see it. The other ones we can't see right now. So, what
Right.
are some more stories from either or from your book, Dork Whore? I haven't read it. I don't know what that
Well, a
title
bunch
is.
of stories from Dorkor and Machu My Picchu are in Stories from the Brink. So there
Oh,
was a crazy story when I went whitewater rafting, and there was another story in Ecuador. So there's a lot of like crazy stuff that happened that I share in my in
all
the
right.
show.
What's a story that's not in the show that you can share with
A
us?
story that's not in the show. Well, you're tackling me here. Like I got to run through my
Well, wait,
entire.
wait, I've done one person shows. I know that they start 3 hours long and you have to cut them to 80, 90 minutes. So what's.
Oh, no, my shows are all under an hour. I believe
Oh,
in short is sweet. So my shows are always 55 minutes and under.
wow.
Always.
Nice. Yes.
Always. Yes, always.
You should add commercials.
They should,
Just to
well,
say, come on.
when I had my alter ego Ray Lynn, my redneck intellectual, she has a mullet. Whenever I used to do my live podcast tapings, I would do fake ads in between. But the series that I'm doing for Amazon now, that's going to be great. That's coming out hopefully later this year. I play Leia, the matriarch. It's the story of Joseph. It's called Joseph of Egypt, and married to Jacob, and I got Rachel, who Jacob prefers, obviously, and
Is
I
this
have
done in
my
a comic way or is it a
no,
serious?
no, this is
Oh,
a drama. This is an
it's a
Amazon
biblical.
limited
Oh.
series, and New Mexico stood in for for Israel, for Canaan.
It
And it actually
has.
looked like it. There were I was like, I'd stand there. I'm like, oh my God, this kind of looks like the Galilee. It's like, but we're in New Mexico. So, so I'm very excited about that. Very, very
No, I
excited.
don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I'm wondering, and we're going to go back to the Jewishness now because how can we not? That you went to Brown University. In fact, you were magna cum laude. Sorry about the word cum. Magna cum laude, and you studied religion. What did you learn?
Religious studies. I focused more on Chinese philosophy. That was what I was interested in. Yeah, yeah.
So, what did you learn about? What is the one big takeaway about Chinese philosophy? It's like one from column A, two from column B.
Oh, I mean, it's all about it, Buddhism and Taoism is so great because it really is about non-attachment, but still being passionate. I think people always confuse non-attachment with being indifferent to things, but it's really not. I think it's really about perspective and the idea of kind of harmony in the world and how you have effect on, everything around you. And we really don't know. We don't know so much. I think that's really
God
the
knows.
wisdom is, well, again, but to really and yeah, and I guess curiosity about the world. I think that Eastern traditions have so much wisdom, and I meditate almost every day. I've been meditating for decades, and I find that very, very powerful. And I really wish they would teach more
Hmm.
meditation and incorporate it, especially with this younger generation that has done everything to promote ADHD in terms of And I know I'm also looking at my phone. You know what I mean? I have my
Yeah, your
notifications on
phone
my
is literally
screen.
right there. It's like boom. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
it. I got
so
it.
I feel like there's something very powerful with sitting, you know, sitting with yourself and sitting with your
That's called
thoughts.
hemorrhoids. That's the powerful
That's
thing I had.
true. That's true, which I've had, which have been fun. But also the compassionate observer. I think that's also another thing that, less self-flagellation and more compassion for yourself and stepping outside yourself as, as if you were watching yourself with compassion. I think that's something that's informed me and informed how I interact with other people too.
Now, speaking of other people interactions, on your credits there, it says you did an episode of Columbo.
I did.
Did
Yes. So
you,
here's a fun
Peter?
story.
Yes.
Okay. So this was a remake, obviously. Years later, Peter Falk, they brought him back for like a Columbo special or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my mom, obviously, my parents grew up on Peter Falk and loved Columbo, and I had just this was one of my first roles, and I hadn't been living in LA long. My mom was living, in Israel, and I tell her I'm doing Columbo, and she's like, I might as well have won the Oscar. I literally had one line. I don't think it was a line. I think it was one word. I was a police officer in a doorway, and Peter Falk comes by, and I think I say like, right this way. It really was not. It wasn't, it wasn't Shakespeare.
It wasn't even an under five. It was an under
It
two.
was
Yeah.
it was just a nod, and so, but usually when you're a co-star or whatever, they give you a whatever you call it, the three banger, like they give you the small trailer, which is like a little pod. Like there's three or four of them in one trailer, and you put your stuff in and you hang out while you wait. But for some reason there was like some sort of mishap, and I got like the director wasn't on set or whatever. I don't know, he didn't need it. I got this massive trailer that till today I have not gotten a trailer as nice as that trailer. So my mom comes to set. Now she really thinks that I've arrived. That's it. And then she gets to the craft services and she's chatting with Peter, and it was so I made her so happy. It was that's so great, when you can do that for your
That.
your parents.
Well, oh, I'm so glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Do you have any fun stories of doing and creating, and what made you create? You had a series of your own called
I did. Yeah.
Svetlana about all these
Yes.
Russians, and it seems like the whole cast was Russian. You were literally
There were,
hiring.
but I had a lot of great guest stars. Oh, one more
Oh,
celebrity that I had
please.
interact with my mom. Phyllis Diller came to see a show I did in LA, a musical. And I went to her, I said, if you call my mom now, can I call my mom and you can say hi to her? And she called. My mom was in the supermarket, and she's probably like, what the fuck? Like Phyllis Diller. And her voice is so distinct. You can't fake a Phyllis Diller. It was great. And then she also met Red Buttons, who said to her, she goes, I'm here from Israel. And Red Buttons is like, don't blow up on me. I mean, he had that comeback immediately. It was like, how amazing. Yeah, it was great.
The beloved Aaron Schwat, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that was his real name.
Really?
Yeah, it was born Aaron Schwat.
Oh my
And why
God.
would he change that? I think we know.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, Red Buttons. That's interesting. I had no idea. That's
So
interesting.
Svetlana ties us. What was the impetus?
I mean, I've been doing characters for a long time, and I was doing things on the street, and I always had this Russian madam character that I would do, Svetlana, and She initially started by doing like hidden camera stuff in Beverly Hills. I would go and like wreak havoc, and then I decided to shoot a pilot, and I shot the pilot on my own dime in one day. I cast it and I wrote it, and then, and a lot of it was also improvised. Like I'd write the storyline, and a lot of it was improvised. And then I sent it to Mark Cuban. I'd never met the person. It was just an email, like a generic email. He watched it within like whatever 20 minutes. He's like, I love this. And I'm like, let's make it into a. It was on Funny or Die. I put it on Funny or Die first. Sorry, and it done very well on Funny or Die, so I have to add that in there. Anyway, and then we did 2 seasons, and then after 2 seasons, I was tired because I was doing everything. I was writing, directing, starring. It was 18-hour days. I was killing myself. And at that point I said, 2 seasons was great and I'm done.
What was Mark? I mean, you must have interacted with him.
Oh, he's great.
Would
He's
you vote for
great.
him for president? Because he's probably. I'm assuming
Is
he'll
he
run.
in Iran? Yeah, I
I
probably
know he
would.
might. He might. He
I
might.
probably would. He's super smart and he's got, he's a remarkably grounded human being. And yeah.
Now, speaking of smartness, how close were you to becoming a brain surgeon?
Oh God, no, I was not. I did
Oh,
neuroscience research in undergrad, and then afterwards I was like a research assistant But I never, I loved going into the OR when they were doing, brain surgery. Me and the neuroscientist, you would test the subject and, and you'd have to test them while they were being operated on to make sure certain areas of the brain were, memory, that kind of thing. There were other tests but I was not, I had zero interest in like the data analysis and all the
Oh,
dry computer analysis stuff that is necessary. And so I realized you can't really phone in brain research. You really have to be committed. You know what I mean? And I was phoning it in. I was
you
like,
can
this is
text.
fun.
Technically, you could text it in. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. Well, AI, yeah, it's soon all of it. But so yeah, so it was great. But I'm still in touch with the neuroscientist that I worked with, and she came to see my last show, and so yeah, it's good.
so speaking of we have your current show, right? Which is
Yes,
Stories from the Brink, my
yes.
festive near-death adventures playing at the Soho Playhouse through Friday. But the invariable question, and you've shot the thing in Arizona that's going to be coming up.
New Mexico, yes,
Next, I'm sorry,
yes.
New Mexico. What's next? What are you working on? What's coming
I'm
up?
doing a cabaret, my first ever cabaret at 54 Below. And so I'll be
When?
doing July 9th. And so I'll be doing a bunch of characters, and each character will be singing. So Svetlana's going to be there, and Fiona Chutney, and Shuli, my Orthodox character, and Shosh. So it's going to be like a
And
fun,
are the
a
songs
reland.
original, or are you doing
No, no,
count?
no,
No.
no. I'm going to be doing a lot of jazz. I'm going to be doing a lot of Simon and Garfunkel, or just Paul Simon, and some just standards. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm very looking forward to it.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing
Yeah.
Iris Barr in Stories from the Brink,
Oh, by the
and
way, my
oh,
musical director is from Roslyn, I think. So another Long Islander, Andy Hertz, who's fantastic. So I just wanted to put that out there.
yeah, certainly put that out. He sounds Jewish. Is he Jewish?
Jewy, Jewy.
Yes, damn it, Iris Barr. Much continued success to you. More
Thank
solo
you.
shows, more acting, more great things coming from you, and safety if you do. How often will you go back to Israel in the
Yeah,
near?
I go back all the time. I mean, I went back in December, and I was supposed to go back in a week, but my flight got canceled, so I'm going to be waiting, and then once the flights start up, I'll go.
Halabai, halabai,
Bye.
safety.
Thank
And
you.
thank you and shalom. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.